By now, I hope you have already started knowing me. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to learn uh, certain documentation tricks. Now, when it comes to documentation, you can use multiple software, and one of my favorite softwares is LaTeX. And then after that, it is followed by LibreOffice. And at the end, it is Microsoft Word. And I will explain to you why Microsoft Word forms the least of my preferences. And I will also demonstrate to you, of course, in the series of 2 lectures that we are going to have. Uh, so, in the series of lectures that we are going to have, I am also going to demonstrate to you why I should use LaTeX or LibreOffice rather than use Microsoft Word. Of course, Microsoft Word has a lot of features, but when it comes to writing technical documents on Microsoft Word, it badly fails. I mean, as far as quality goes, Microsoft Word fails badly. So, first of all, what I'll do is I will try to tell you about LaTeX. And of course, what happens with LaTeX is it's a bit of you need to remember a bit of commands, but it's okay. If I can get a good document by remembering certain commands, it should be a fair deal. But if I get a bad document by not remembering anything, then it's not a good deal. Ultimately, your thesis will be an output that you would like to show to the world, and your effort should be that my output would be beautiful. So that is the aim of this lecture, or aim of the 2 series of lectures that we are going to cover. So in this, we are going to learn how to really make a good presentation, good documentation, how to manage bibliography. These are the things that we want to learn. So let us try to do that. So before I begin, before I start talking about LaTeX, let me talk to you about some basic software. Now, those people who have attended various other lectures, they might say, okay, some other mechanisms is available, some easier mechanism is available. Of course, there will be several mechanisms which are easier or difficult according to which person is using. So for me, whatever is easy, I am going to tell you. Baba, ये मेरे लिए आसान लगता है. Okay, so first of all, one of the things that you would need while you are preparing your critical appraisal of literature review is the list of references. You would need this list of references. So how do I see my list of references? So what do? I have to prepare my list of references. How do I do that? Let us go to one particular website, which I'll try to show you. This is this website. So do you see this? This is Zotero.org. What does it say? It is a personal research assistant. Now this Zotero assistant or Zotero software is available on Macintosh. It is available on Windows as well as it is available for Linux. So it's a cross-platform software. इसका Windows वाला software available है क्या? See Windows वाला professional software. Yes, it is available, and that software is known as EndNote. And EndNote happens to be a very expensive software. I have a personal copy of EndNote, which is EndNote X9, and it has cost me around 8,000 rupees to buy that software and use it. Okay, so Comparatively, compared to EndNote, this is an open source software, a free software, and as a result, you can use this free software to download your download and manage your references which are there in the. Now, what do I? Okay, let some more people are joining in this. Okay, where are yes? So let me demonstrate to you what happens with Zotero. Now, Zotero is the, I mean, if you install the Zotero software, is this software visible to you right now? Do you think can you see the Zotero user interface which I'm trying to shake right now? दिख रहा है? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you are seeing the Zotero user interface right now on my screen. Now it is also saying there is something called install a Zotero connector. So what is this Zotero connector? Now see, the point is, if I say download here, what will happen is it will show me this particular page. You see the Zotero software. Now why you are seeing Mac? Because I am using the Macintosh. But if you are using the Windows software or if you are on Linux, it will show the Linux one. Your internet is very intelligent enough. It can detect which OS you are using. So on your screen right now, you are seeing the link for the software, the Zotero one, and there is this connector. Now the connector is available both for Firefox as well as Chrome. So you can install the Chrome connector as well. Now it has to be installed. The Chrome connector has to be installed. Now after you install the Chrome connector, you see on my screen, do you see where my mouse key is? If I see, if I click on this, what happens is this particular extensions are available. Okay, like for example, this extension is there. There is this extension Zotero. When I install the Zotero connector, this particular item will appear in the extensions bar or extensions button. So on the extensions button, this should be available or this should be seen. Once you are seeing this, please remember that I have to click on this particular pin. If I don't put this pin on, the Zotero connector will disappear. Right now, there is no Zotero connector here. Okay, the only thing is the extension. So you just click the extension and click on this pin. As soon as you click on this pin, the Zotero connector makes itself available here. You see on this, I mean, where my mouse is, it says save to Zotero. So where save to Zotero means what? It will save to this particular software. अब देखो इसका काम कैसे करता है. So what would I do is I will go to sciencedirect.com. You see the Science Direct. ये Science Direct है. इसमें अपन पेपर सर्च कर सकते हैं. So let us search for some paper. So say for example shape optimization. So I am just putting shape optimization. I'll say okay. So any engineering research should include optimization as a part of the work. So you see, I'm just going to one of the paper sites, and this is probably from a mechanical engineering perspective because it says tribology. So shape optimization of hydrodynamic texture surfaces for load carrying capacity based on level set method. So this paper is here. I want to put the reference of this paper. Now you see the point is here it is written site. Okay, if I click here, if I click here, this site, if I click here, it will give me so many options. Okay, and then if I click on this export citation to text, it will give me a file to download. Now this is a very irritating point. It will give me a file to download. So instead of giving me a file to download, what I will do is I will click on this button. You see this button? I am going to click on the save to Zotero button and I'm going to tell you what happens here. If I just click on this button, just clicked on this button, it is going to save this particular reference into my library. And let me tell you now what has happened. I go to Zotero software, and do you see this? Do you see this particular option? The same paper which was here, shape optimization of hydrodynamics, the reference of this particular paper has been now stored into Zotero. Okay. Now let us try, right now on the Zotero software, it is only one which is mentioned here. Let us go to another paper. Let us search for another paper. Let us see. It says say pollution modeling. Say okay. So environmental science. Yeah. So model of air pollution. So there you are. This is another paper. I want to save the reference of this paper to my Zotero, and I can click here. It will do this, and right now on my Zotero, the second option, the second reference is also available. Right now, you see it is an easy click and just add. Okay, so you can add all your references just by doing this particular process. So this is an interesting software which you can plug in with your Word also. You can plug it in with your LibreOffice also. And let me tell you, if you install the plugin of Word, when you install the plugin of Word, I'm going to show you my Word software. Let me, it will take a bit of time to start Word. But during the time it starts, I am going to show you some more connection, some more, connection. Okay. Now, apart from Zotero, there is another software which I call as Jabber. So this software called Hello. So this software is named as Jabrev. So you can go to this website called jabrev.org. So this is a free software again. Just like Zotero, there is another free software like Jabrev. Okay. So you can use Jabrev to store your references also. Okay. Similarly. तो मेरे जो PhD का काम था during my PhD work, what I did was I have stored so many references, like you see 1108 right now. Okay, so these many references were stored, and all these references is read and stored. Okay, so ये पूरा Jabrev का दिखना है, और ये जो दिख रहा है आपको right now on your screen, this thing is the end note. The same references, what I have done is I have saved the same references. Hello, yes. Is there anybody who wants to say something? So there are, what I'm saying is, there are three software which you can use. Number one is EndNote, which is a Clarivate analytics software, which is a paid software. Free nahi hai ye. Next thing is the Zotero software, which is a free software. It works on it works on Macintosh, it works on Windows, and it works on Linux also. And the third software, again, which works on Windows, Macintosh, and Linux, is the Jabrev software. And where do we use? I mean, typically, if you are a LaTeX user, you will use the Jabrev software. All right. So, ये हमारे तीन software है. Now, if there is a question, can I exchange information or data between Jabrev and Zotero? Yes, I can do so. I can actually export the file from here to, export the library here, and I can take it to, how to say, I can take it to Jabrev. Similarly, I can load a Jabrev library into Zotero. So these are interchangeable. If you are working with Microsoft Word, then you can use Zotero, or if you are working with LibreOffice, you can use Zotero. If you are working with LaTeX, prefer using Jabber. Okay, so let us see. I mean, my word is loaded here. So if I just start a vacant document, if I do that, I just start an empty document. So when I start my empty document, and because of the Zotero connector, which is available on my system, which plugs in with Word. So I will try to show you that. Okay, so Word can work with EndNote as well as Zotero. Now you see the Zotero tab has been created because I have installed an extension, and the Zotero tab is here. All right. Uh, what I will do is uh, now let us suppose that I want to add a reference. Like for example, if I want this shape optimization reference into my Word, how do I do that? So let us try to see this issue. So first of all, what you have to do is set these document preferences. Now, why this preferences business? What happens is there are different journals. There is a Taylor and Francis journal. There is an Elsevier journal. There is Springer journal, and there is Wiley journal. These are all different kinds of journals. These are all different publishers. There is an IEEE also. Now the problem is that if I want to publish into these publishing houses, if I want to put my paper into these publishing houses, they want भाई कि मेरा जो references हो वो इसी style में आना चाहिए. It should not be in, I mean, suppose I am putting my paper or submitting my paper to Springer, it should not be in Elsevier font. Suppose I am submitting my paper to Wiley, it should not be in Springer. So there is a difference between the formatting of the references from journal to journal and from publishing house to publishing house. Okay. And since there is this difference, it is very important to set the preference in which format you want your references to be. So let us try to do this. Let us try to see how I can actually try to sort of set the document. So I am going to click on document preferences and let us see what happens. So I've clicked on document preferences right now, and what is going to happen is a pop-up is going to appear right now. Okay, the popular. Okay, this pop-up has appeared right now into my. Okay, so you can see there is the Zotero tab on my Windows, and there is the Zotero thing also on my document preferences. Somebody is echoing. Somebody is echoing. Okay. Now you see on this particular, suppose I want to publish to IEEE. Okay, this is my IEEE font. Okay, suppose I want to publish to IEEE. बस मुझे IEEE यहाँ पे select करना है, and I will say okay. That's it. I have set my preference to IEEE. Okay, so what has happened is IEEE format has been set. अभी कुछ किया नहीं है. Now what I want to do is I want to cite the paper. So how many papers I have? Remember, right now I have only 2 papers. यहाँ पे optimization लिखा हुआ है और यहाँ पे cooperative लिखा है. These are the keywords I will remember. Okay. So remember the keywords. So I'm going to use optimization. So I'm going to click on this particular button. So it says add or edit citation. Click. इतना किया ना तो यहाँ पे ये आएगा. So there is this particular user interface which appears. Okay. If I just type optimization, you see what happens. So this, if I just type optimization, this is the optimization paper, and I will press enter. So this Zerong et al has appeared, and I will press enter. मैं सिर्फ enter दबाता हूँ. So what has happened is ये one आ गया. So let us type something. Okay. So one has mentioned about, don't worry about the spelling mistakes, shape optimization using nodes, non-uniform rational B-splines. Okay, so I just have written this particular text. Now let us assume for the time being that I have written a lot of text here into my document. I have written just typing something randomly. Okay. Now I am now going to add the second citation. Okay. So let us say add edit citation, and remember the next keyword was the cooperative, right? So the citation was cooperative, cooperative. So this is the cooperative, and I'm just okay. It has got here, and I have got this citation, and I'm just keep on typing like that. Okay. Now what has happened is my entire document. Let us assume that my entire document is now typed. ये सारा typing हो गया. After that, I need the list of references. So list of references. I just a list of references, or you say references usually. So references. And then what I'll do is add edit bibliography, the second button. I just do click here, and as soon as I click, all the references are now present in my document. How was this? All the references are now present in my document as a required in the IEEE format. The references are now in my document. Now, let us suppose that the problem is that Baba, I have put my or submitted my paper into Springer journal, or sorry, IEEE journal, and it got rejected from. Let us assume for the worst scenario, it has gotten rejected from this particular journal. So you are supposed to submit to another journal. You are definitely going to submit to another journal. So now that journal is not from IEEE but from Elsevier. So Elsevier uses a different format. Okay, no problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to again go to different document preferences, click on document preferences. As soon as I click on document preferences, again that Zotero thing will pop up. Yeah, it has popped up. And instead of that, let us suppose I have submitted on Elsevier. So, okay, fine. And I'm going to say okay. If I just say okay, what will happen? The references are now formatted in a different way. Do you see this? The references are now formatted in a different way. और आपको कुछ करना ही नहीं पड़ा, ये automatically हो गया है. So in Elsevier, they require a different format. In IEEE, they require a different format. In Springer, they will require a different format. और Springer का कोई भी जर्नल अगर आप पूछते हैं कि नहीं सर Springer का ये वाला डॉक्यूमेंट चाहिए, फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर इज ए जर्नल कॉल्ड अप्लाइड जियोमेट्रिक्स, उसका भी साइटेशन अगर आपको चाहिए तो यू कैन एक्चुअली सेट दैट. ओके, हाउ कैन आई डू दैट? So I just go to preferences, and you can actually find a lot of additional styles from here. Okay, so you can get the additional styles. You can just click here, and for any journal whatsoever, any journal which is a popular journal, a Scopus indexed journal, tell me the name of the journal, and I will be able to search the entire, the referencing style, and all these referencing styles are available. Okay. So for example, ACMC graph, people who are working in the domain of computers, they might be, requiring this ACM, Association of Computing Machinery. So if I want ACM SIGGRAPH references, I just click here, and वो मुझे सिर्फ क्लिक करना है, वो ऑटोमेटिकली स्टाइल रिपोजिटरी में ऐड हो जाएगा. So ACM SIGGRAPH is now added into my system. So suppose, for example, if I go back to my document and I click document preferences and I say ACM SIGGRAPH, suppose I say this and I say okay, so automatically my document will be formatted into that. Look here, मुझे कुछ करना नहीं पड़ा. My document has now been formatted, or my references have now been formatted into the format which is required by ACM. Okay. Now there was a lot of problem this Zotero thing was there was a lot of problem in rearranging or reformatting the references because the references which are required, they are in a different format. This is a big problem with the publication society. So if I want to publish into multiple journals, you don't really have to publish everything in a single journal. You can choose multiple journals. Say you can choose multiple publishing houses. Say for example, Taylor and Francis is there, then Wiley is there, Springer is there, Elsevier is there, and the Scopus index list is also present, and you can easily do this referencing format. So this is about managing the references in Word. Okay, so you can do the same thing in LibreOffice also. The same setting and the same things are available. So let us see in LibreOffice also. You see, I'll just do the canceling. Uh, on my this thing, because I've installed the connector on my system also, there is this setting. The same thing is there. Set document preferences and this add edit citation, add edit bibliography. The same setting is there, and you can just keep on doing the same thing, and it will work the same way. So in the LibreOffice, whether it is LibreOffice or whether it is Microsoft Word, it works in the exactly the same way. No. Okay. Now let us now come to the concept of preparing documents. So I'll just shut down. I will just, for the time being, I will just, to free my memory, I will just try to, quit this word thing so that I get more memory for working. So anyway, uh, so for typesetting documents in LaTeX, you have to, you can install what we call as the distribution. So let me tell you the distribution. This distribution is available at this particular website. So you can go to this particular website and download the Tech Live. This is one mechanism. Those people who are working with Windows, I assume mostly people work with Windows, but anyway, if you are working with Windows and you are much more comfortable with other software, so there are these MikTeX. अभी ये क्या है, ये MikTeX अलग क्यों है और TechLive अलग क्यों है? These are two different distributions. The same commands work. The file organization system in TechLive and in MikTeX, they are only different. They contain the same command, they contain the same packages, no problem there, but only the file organization is different. So there is this MikTeX, and MikTeX also, as it is saying now, earlier MikTeX was only for Windows, but as it is saying now here, it's a modern tech distribution for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. It is also there, and you can also use the MikTeX package. Okay, so that download is simply possible. You can download, you can choose to download a smaller package, or you say, for example, the smaller package is written basic MikTeX is there. It's a smaller one, and there are the bigger packages which are also there. Okay, there are bigger packages. These are all smaller packages. ये छोटे छोटे installer हैं. Whereas if you wish to install from TechLive, you would rather want to install the full version. So TechLive is around 4 GB. The download is 4 GB, and you can, when you install it, it takes a bit more space. All right. So at least 4 to 6 GB it will take, depending upon what you install. So I find personally that TechLive is more reliable for me, and so I resort to using TechLive all the time. Also, TechLive is supported by the Tech Users Group, so that's why I resort to the TechLive distribution. So that is a lot of there are things to do with the licensing format and all that. So there's a lot of politics about licensing. Let us not get into that. So what I'm saying is, okay, once you are into LaTeX, let us get into this presentation. So let me tell you that this presentation has been designed in LaTeX. ओके, ये मैंने लेटेक में ही प्रेजेंटेशन डिजाइन किया. दिस इज नॉट डिजाइन्ड इन पावर पॉइंट. ओके, now so this is basic introduction. So what I'm going to do is, so why should we use latex? Number one, the why of there. Then what are the parts of the latex document? I will also simultaneously show you how to type the latex document. There is mathematical typesetting. So mathematical typesetting means there is equation numbering, there is section numbering, all that is there. And इसके अलावा there is something called, they call them floats. They call them floats. Now, what are floats? They are basically figures and your tables. So they are floating. Why they float? Because the table might be placed at any point in the in your document. Whereas if you are typing in Word, your tables and figures, they are not floating actually. They can, and the problem with Word is the tables jump from here to there and it creates all commotion. So comparatively, the facility or the suvidha, I should say, the suvidha facility is much easier in LaTeX. And of course, those people who are very keen about the Marathi language, you can also type in Devanagari in LaTeX. Okay, so why I find LaTeX easier to use is because number one, it's free software. मुझे कोई पैसे नहीं देना, मुझे सिर्फ डाउनलोड करना है. Rendering mathematics is much easier compared to Word. Rendering mathematics is much easier, and I'm going to demonstrate to you. Okay, and there is no worries about setting the file size. What is happening in Microsoft Word? Those people who use Microsoft Word, they will know that कि बाबा अरे मुझे font size setting करना है. Of course, there are mechanism for simpler font size setting that also I will tell you. But मुझे font size setting करना है तो वो मुझे जाके मेनू में जाके font size setting करना होता है. Here you just have to download a style file and you are done. So suppose, for example, you are typing a document for Elsevier. Suppose you are typing a document for Springer. So for typing a document for Elsevier, the font size requirement is 10. For Springer, the font size requirement might be 8. So if you want to type a Word document, you have to actually typeset the end. I mean, like, say Control A and you set all the font to 8. And then if you are typing in, for example, Wiley, then maybe they will require a 12 point. So all hell will break loose because you might format the title wrongly, you might format the equation wrongly, all that can happen. So let us see. So technically in Word also there will my fingers are tired with the click find and click approach. So it's very difficult for me, technically difficult for me. Those people who are acclimatized to a software like Microsoft Word and may find difficulty in going to LaTeX, they have a simpler option. I will also demonstrate to you that option. So there is a simpler option is also there. Okay, what do we have to do? So I have to remember the basic structure of the document. So basic structure of which document? The command document. So there is a command document that there is a basic structure. And I have to remember a few macros. Just a few macros और कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. Just remember a few macros and you are done. Okay. So we will cover those macros bit by bit. Okay. So the etymology comes from the LaTeX is actually developed by a guy called Leslie Lamport. And originally the software was Tech, Tau Epsilon Chi, and together we called LaTeX. Now there are many people who prefer to call it LaTeX. So anyway, it is completely up to you. How do you want to call it? You want to call it LaTeX or you want to call it LaTeX? I call it LaTeX. That's my way of speaking it. So anyway, with LaTeX, I can create research papers. I can create reports. I can create thesis, presentation, poster, leaflet. लीफलेट मतलब आप जो कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं उसका जो 3 पार्ट वाला लीफलेट रहता है वो तक आप लेटेक्स में डिजाइन कर सकते हैं। फॉर एवरीथिंग देयर इज अ पैकेज for everything. Okay, for research papers, there is a package. There are classes and packages. For reports, there are classes. For thesis, there are classes. You can design your own class. That freedom is there. You can design your own presentations. That freedom is there. And then poster summary. Okay, so again, I have already discussed this. So there is a LaTeX code which is written in a text file. Okay, and there are Windows editors. The Windows editor, those are available. WinEdit and Technic Center is also there. So these are Windows-based editors. But I prefer to use TechWorks or Tech Studio. These are the two editors that I prefer to use. TechWorks or Tech Studio. Kyun? Because these are much more convenient to use. Okay, you in Windows also these two software are available. Tech Studio and TechWorks both are available. So if you install MikTeX or if you install TechLive, both software are available with it. So you can easily use them. Fine. Further, your Lix software. This Lix software is also available for Windows and macOS and Linux. So all that interesting thing is there. Why am I saying? Because I get excited when I talk about LaTeX. So these are okay. Now, what are the parts of a LaTeX document? There are parts. There are two parts, two main parts. One is called the preamble. In the preamble, you are making the announcements. कौन कैसा होगा परिचय देना होता है. डॉक्यूमेंट में परिचय देना होता है, डिफाइन करना होता है. So then that is called the preamble. And the other part is called the body. So in the body, you are going to define what is the title, who is the author, etc., etc. Okay. So there is preamble and there is the body. And sometimes in some of the documents, remember, the title and the author are in the preamble. In some documents, the author and the title are in the body. Depends on the class. Okay. Usually, in the normal article class, what will going to happen is that the preamble is going to be containing your title and the author and the date of the document, all that is there. Okay. So let us see how it works. So then in the preamble, you are going to make announcements. So certain announcements are there, like what will be the style of the document, what will be the packages which are going to be used. You can define your own macros also. Suppose a particular word is going to be appearing more and multiple times. For example, shape optimization. And I don't really want to type shape optimization all the time. Yeah, shape optimization type kar rahe. So I can define my own macro. Say for example, /so. If I just type and it will create my shape optimization macro. और सीधा /o टाइप किया तो डायरेक्टली शेप ऑप्टिमाइजेशन टाइप हो जाए. ऐसा मैं कर सकता हूँ. So these are basically shortcuts और कुछ. So let us get our hands dirty. We will start designing our first LaTeX document. Okay, for LaTeX document, remember what I am going to do is this. Okay, so here what I do is there is this software called TextWorks. Now on my system, you are seeing my screen. I hope you can see this this window which I am showing. So
Yes,
what?
sir.
Yeah. So on my system, you are seeing Text Studio, and you can also use TextWorks. So first of all, I will start with TextWorks. ठीक है, फिर टेक्स्ट स्टूडियो इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे. आपको ऐसा लगेगा क्यों टेक्स्ट स्टूडियो यूज करना चाहिए, थोड़ा बहुत तो फैसिलिटी मुझे मिलना चाहिए. ओके, बाद में अपन टेक्स्ट स्टूडियो पे जाएंगे. सो लेट अस गो विद टेक्सवर्क्स फर्स्ट. ओके, व्हाई? बिकॉज इट इज कंप्लीटली बेयर बोन. ज्यादा उसमें शो शाह नहीं है, इसको बोलते शो ऑफ नहीं है. जस्ट सिंपल टेक्सवर्क्स विल यूज. ओके, सो व्हाट आई एम डूइंग is I am going to use TextWorks. So let us suppose I open a new file in TextWorks. It will look like this. ओके, ये ऐसा दिखता है राइट नाउ। सो लेट इट बी लाइक दिस, उसको मैक्सिमाइज मत कीजिए, मैं तो ये कह रहा हूं उसको मैक्सिमाइज मत कीजिए, जैसा है वैसे रहने दीजिए। आधे स्क्रीन पे दिख रहा है ना, लेट इट बी ऑन हाफ द स्क्रीन। ओके, what I am going to do is, first of all, I am going to tell TechWorks या LaTeX basically कि भाई मैं कौन से टाइप का डॉक्यूमेंट यूज करने वाला हूं। सो व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू, फर्स्ट कमांड इज document class. Can you see the should I or should I enlarge the font size? Can you see what I'm typing, or should I enlarge the font size?
It's okay, sir.
Just
It's visible, sir.
visible. Let me try. Okay. So what I'm going to do, what I did, I said document class article. बस इतना ही टाइप किया, document class article. इसका मतलब I am going to type a research article. This article, this article package is provided with the tech line या with the mixtext. ये उसके साथ आता है by default, आपको कुछ करना नहीं है. But suppose you want to write an article for Springer, or you want to write an article for Wiley, they have typical different LaTeX packages. They are not part of the standard packages. So you have to download the packages from Springer. You have to download the packages from Elsevier, download the packages from Taylor and Francis. And I will show you where you can find out. They are usually in instructions for authors. Okay. So let us see if I can so let me do this. If you just type on, yeah, so there you are, guide for authors. Okay. So, and then it says, if you just usually, it will open in this guide for authors page. This is the guide, which is downloadable. And there is this link called use of word processing software. It says LaTeX here. And if I want to use the LaTeX file, that is also available for download at this particular point. Okay. So LaTeX files are downloadable from here also. Never, don't worry about it. We'll see how things are there. So there you are, LaTeX files are there. So your LaTeX file, remember when you are typing in Microsoft Word, you have to actually compose it like that. In LaTeX, the composition is already done by program, and you just have to fit into your template. So usually LaTeX के साथ जब आप इसका template download करते हैं, तो इसका already एक sample file होता है. You just have to fill your data into the sample file, and it just works. Okay. So all the instructions are there in this particular link, and you can use this link for understanding how it is done for Elsevier. Similarly, you can also find the link for in the Wiley, in Springer. So if I just say, if I just type, say Springer LaTeX template, if I just type that, it can, and then you are, see, here you are. So when I say that, so there is this author support and the LaTeX journal article, LaTeX template packages. You have to just download it and fill your data into it, or you आराम से चल सकता है. But the basic, now let us start with the basic. First of all, basic अपने clear होना चाहिए. उसके बाद अपन advanced की बातें करेंगे. So article is the base package I want. Okay. Now what I want is, अभी देखेंगे क्या होता है. Right now what I want is कि मेरा टाइटल डिफाइन हो जाए. मैं जस्ट टाइटल करूंगा. तो टाइटल आई एम गोइंग टू से मेरा पहला पेपर. So this is the title of the document, and say author. So the command here is slash title, or rather it is a backslash. Okay, all commands which are in blue, they start basically with a backslash command. So backslash title, backslash author, backslash date, etc., etc., etc. So author. Say for example, I'm just typing my name. Okay, and then I'm saying date. Okay, today's date is November 12, 2021. I just did that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, I am going to, now this is my, what do you call it? This is my preamble. This much is my preamble. This entire document class, title, author, date. इतना ही मेरा preamble मैं रखता हूँ. Right now, I keep it like this. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is, I am going to now begin document and end document. This I have to do. This I have just to do. Okay. And begin document and end document. Between begin document and end document, I have to put in my commands for writing my paper. Now, एक चीज ध्यान में रखो आप, यहाँ ये begin document and end document है, they cannot intersect with each other. Like for example, if you have written begin equation, okay, you cannot write end equation here. ये nesting हो जाता है इसमें. So this is intersection of the loop. This intersection of loop is not allowed. How do you understand this? Let us assume that in the morning you are putting on your shoes. तो पहले आप मोजा पहनेंगे, उसके बाद आप जूता पहनेंगे. करेक्ट? पहले मोजा पहना आपने, फिर उसके बाद जूता पहना. जब आपने उतारा, सपोज यू गो बैक टू द हाउस इन द इवनिंग, तो आप पहले मोजा नहीं उतारेंगे, पहले आप जूता उतारेंगे, उसके बाद मोजा उतारेंगे. करेक्ट? तो जो पहले आता है वो बाद में बंद होता है. So whenever you start, begin document is first, begin equation is second. Similarly, end equation must be first and end document must be second. ऐसा होना चाहिए. Okay. So you have to keep everything in between. Now, so this is my begin document. First thing I want to tell the guy, यार LaTeX, I want to tell my LaTeX कि put my title, ये जो title और author है ना, ये put करो बीच में. Okay, so what I do is I will say make title. ये कर दो. I just say make title. इतना कर दिया मैंने. Okay, and then what happens here? Let us see what has happened right now up to this particular place. What has happened? Let us see. Okay, sure. So it is going to compile, and the first thing that is going to ask is कि भैया इसको मैं save कहाँ पे करूँगा? So I'm going to save it somewhere. There you go. I'm going to save it to a particular place. Just wait a minute. Okay. Okay. This is important. Oh, yeah. Okay, just wait a minute. Right. Okay, fine. So it has come in file, save as. It has got the there you go, and I'm going to say pehla paper TH. Okay. So I've just done that, and I am going to what I am going to do is I'm going to compile. So let us do this compilation. So this is the compilation. So please see what has happened here right now. Uh, on this particular page, your पेपर का टाइटल आ गया, ये मेरे ऑथर आ गया और इसका डेट आ गया. ओके, सपोज आई डोंट वांट द डेट, सपोज आई डोंट वांट द डेट, ये डेट हटा दें, कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. ओके, कंपाइल कर दो, ये फिर से कंपाइल करो, ये डेट गायब हो गए. ओके, नाउ व्हाट आई वांट टू डू इज आई वांट टू स्टार्ट राइटिंग द आर्टिकल. नाउ इफ यू रिकॉल माय initial lectures mein I told you that I have to write my article, or rather my paper has to have 5 different sections. Number 1 section is going to be introduction. Okay, next section is going to be my literature review. Okay, next section is going to be my methodology or materials and methods. Methodology, materials and methods. जैसा भी आप कर लो. Okay, materials and methods, and then next will be results and discussion. This is a standard mechanism. Results and discussion. I do that, and the last one is going to be my conclusion. Okay. So if I have kept my sections like these, let us see how my paper will look like. I just click on that and look, my paper is now looking like this. Already, did I try to number? मुझे नंबर नहीं लगाने की जरूरत पड़ी, हाँ, मुझे 2.1 कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. Automatically, these articles or these sections are now placed into my document without actually saying or mentioning कि मुझे टाइम्स न्यू रोमन चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए. But suppose now most of the journals, you see what happens is, in the last decade, what was happening? Most of the journals wanted their papers in Times New Roman, okay, or Times fonts. So how do I ensure कि भैया Times? Now look at, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. Look at this. This is not Times font. ये Times में नहीं है. Okay, so I want to ensure that my font is Times. How do I do that? क्या करना है? इधर एंटर मारना है, सबसे पहले एंटर मारेंगे, and I'm going to write, I'm going to use a package, the Times font package. That is what it is going to do. Use package, just write TX fonts. TX fonts will make Times fonts. Just use package TX fonts दिया और मैंने compile कर दिया. Look at this, what has happened? ये automatically by ये Times New Roman हो गया है. You see this? This is all in Times New Roman. Now suppose instead of article, suppose for example instead of article I write paper. मैंने उसका article के जगह paper कर दिया. Let's see what happens. देखो क्या हो जाता है. The look of the document changes. Okay, instead of article, the paper is there. Why do we need paper? The paper is required for, say for example, अपना term paper, term work होता है courses में, term work submission करना है बच्चों का, तो इसमें paper में submit कर सकते. Now let us suppose I want to write the abstract of the document. So let us get back to the article now. First of all, article. So I want to write the abstract. तो मुझे क्या करना है? Right click, begin, backslash begin abstract, and I have to write end abstract. बस मुझे इतना करना. So in this paper we are going to talk about some shape optimization for cars using non-uniform rational B-splines, or which are called nodes. Okay. Literature review literature reveals that aerodynamic structure of cars gives better mileage. ऐसा कुछ मतलब मैंने कुछ abstract लिखा. Okay. Now once I written this abstract, I to just compile and you see what happens. And there you are. So your abstract is now typed into the document. मैंने abstract को center रखने को बोला क्या? नहीं बोला. कुछ नहीं बोला. But in my document, which is this is the PDF document which has been created. In this PDF, my paper now has an abstract formatted according to the paper. Now suppose मुझे ये पेपर IEEE में पब्लिश करना है. Just suppose I want to publish this paper in IEEE. तो मुझे क्या करना है? Just IEEE tran कर देना है. ऐसा IEEE tran, I hope it is IEEE tran और नहीं, ये वाला नहीं है. नहीं, not this one. So जाने दीजिए. We'll go into the article. Let me see. So these manuscript templates are available here. Okay, capital IEEE. There you are. I just do that. It will be formatted into the IEEE format now. Look at this. This is the IEEE format. Automatically, ये मुझे सिर्फ कमांड चेंज करना है और मेरा डॉक्यूमेंट IEEE फॉर्मेट में आ जाएगा. सिमिलरली मुझे सिर्फ कमांड चेंज करना है and I will be changing my document into a different class. Word से कम effort यहाँ पे लगाना होता है और कुछ नहीं. So now let us suppose in my paper what I have done. Let me tell you this. What has happened is ये मुझे ये जो ये देख रहा हूं मैं आपको. I am going to show you one particular image. कौन सा image? एक पैरेट का इमेज है यहाँ पे. ये पैरेट का इमेज है. I want to put the image of the parrot into the paper. Okay? ये पैरेट का कितना बड़ा इमेज है देखो. I want to put that image into the paper. How do I do that? Now remember that your image is a floating thing, floating object. Okay? So first of all, what we'll do is we will try to type some text inside. We will type some equation inside. पहले वैसा सा कर लेते हैं और उसके बाद we will type some interesting graphics into the paper. Okay, so parrot का image मुझे लेके जाना है, but in order to give the classic look of the paper, I will let us do that. Okay, so ये मुझे IEEE tran format में ही लेके जाना है. ये ऐसा मेरा पेपर है. Okay, fine. And I will just introduce some dummy text. Okay, just dummy text use करेंगे, use package. कुछ dummy text मैं डाल देता हूँ so that I get some text into the paper. Okay, so let's see. There you go. If I just do this and I just do say, okay, go to 7. I just do that and let us say some 8 to 12. So 8 to 12. So let us see how the paper is looking now. ये देखो मेरा पेपर, what I've done is in my paper I have inserted some dummy text. ओके, क्या हो गया है, ये मेरा पेपर IEEE पेपर जैसा दिखने लगा। अभी मुझे IEEE ट्रांस नहीं करना है, अगर मुझे इसको आर्टिकल करना है, ये मैंने आर्टिकल किया और देखो मेरा पेपर ऐसा दिखने लगेगा। राइट नाउ द पेपर इज गोइंग टू लुक लाइक, ऐसा दिखना लगेगा। So just keep on changing the format and you will be getting the look of the paper. Okay. Similarly, IEEE tran kiya, ya aaya, paper aa gaya. Okay. Now let me put some more text into the document. Lipsum 8 to 9 kiya maine. Lipsum is just nothing but some dummy text I'm putting. Okay. Lipsum command hai, and this is just putting some dummy text into the document. और कुछ नहीं है। So with this particular thing, what I have been able to do, I have been able to create a paper which is some pages long. Okay, say 2 pages long. It is there. Right now, what I want to do is let me type in certain equation. Okay, तो कौन सा इक्वेशन कोई बताएगा, कोई बहुत भयानक सा इक्वेशन कोई बता सकता है? Now, before we do that, so before I insert the equation, I will use the package called. So I have to, before I have to use certain equations or etc. I usually do AMS math. Some basic mathematics is supported, but for some advanced equations, I will need the AMS math package. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to put in some equations. So I'm going to do, if I make begin equation and equation. Now inside this equation, let me type the equation of the circle. Can anybody tell me what is the equation of the circle? Equation of the circle is like this: x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2 fy plus c. Okay, and that is equal to 0. This is the equation of the circle. Some people will recall the equation of the circle to be x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equal to r square. कैसा भी सर्कल। ओके, तो पहले सिंपल वाला सर्कल है, एक्स माइनस बी एक्स माइनस ए होल स्क्वायर प्लस वाई माइनस बी बी होल स्क्वायर एंड इक्वल्स टू आर स्क्वायर। ओके, तो दिस इज अ सर्कल। तो ये सर्कल का मैं देखना चाहूंगा। सो नाउ सी व्हाट हैपेंस राइट नाउ ऑन इन योर डॉक्यूमेंट, दिस सर्कल इज नाउ टाइपसेट। दिख रहा है आप लोगों को? Now suppose I want to typeset an ellipse. तो ellipse का कैसे दिखता है? Can anybody tell me how does the ellipse look like? Ellipse का इक्वेशन, ellipse का इक्वेशन क्या है? x square upon a square plus y square upon b square and that is equal to 1. So now I have to write x square divided by a square. यहाँ देखो, यहाँ स्क्वायर लिखा, स्क्वायर इज कैरेट 2, मतलब ऐसे ऊपर कैरेट, ये जो कैरेक्टर है दिस कॉल्ड ए कैरेट, CARET, एंड इट इज फाउंड अबव 6। ये जो 6 है ना आपके कीबोर्ड के ऊपर, वो कैरेट है वहां पे। नाउ सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव टू टाइप समथिंग अपॉन समथिंग, तो क्या है कमांड? जैसे दिस इज अ फ्रैक्शन, एनी फ्रैक्शन कैन बी टाइप, दिस इज फ्रैक्शन, न्यूमरेटर एंड डिनोमिनेटर, ये फ्रैक्शन। नाउ प्लस फ्रैक्शन, न्यूमरेटर और डिनोमिनेटर, ओके, ये फ्रैक्शन एंड दैट इज इक्वल टू 1। नाउ हाउ डू आई टाइप द फ्रैक्शन? एक्स स्क्वायर चाहिए और एक्स माइनस ए होल स्क्वायर चाहिए, सो हाउ डू से एक्स माइनस ए होल स्क्वायर एंड ओके, एंड सो डिवाइड बाय से फॉर एग्जांपल a square and then I say y minus b whole square divided by b square, and that is equal to 1. So if I have typed this, now let's see what happens. ये देखो, you see this? ये टाइप शीट हो गया. Now, one of the things that is done in basically in engineering, you can see this engineering. So in engineering, there is something called Fourier series. Okay, the summation of series, for example. So if I want to type the summation of series, or you want to product the sum of series, Lagrange's interpolation आपको याद होगा. Those people who work with interpolation, they might know the Lagrange's interpolant. ओके, द लैग्रांजेस इंटरपोलेंट. तो मुझे टाइप सेट करना है लैग्रांज का बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, और लैग्रांजेस बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल के बेसिस पे मुझे लैग्रांज का इंटरपोलेंट भी लिखना है. एंड रिमेंबर द लैग्रांजेस बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल यूजेस प्रोडक्ट नोटेशन, एंड द लैग्रांजेस बेसिस लैग्रांज इंटरपोलेटिंग पॉलिनोमियल यूजेस द सिग्मा नोटेशन. ये मैं आपको बताऊंगा. मे बी यू डोंट रिमेंबर इट, बट डोंट वरी, वी विल डू द प्रोडक्ट नोटेशन. नाउ द थिंग इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. Okay, so now if I want to define the product, how do I do that? Begin equals, okay, end equals. तो मुझे क्या करना है, सबसे पहले लैग्रांजेस का बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल मुझे टाइप करना है. एक मुझे L, ऊपर N चाहिए, नीचे I चाहिए. देखो LNI अभी दिखता कैसा है, लेट मी सी. LNI जैसे दिखता है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल देखते हैं कैसे दिखता है. तो LNI looks like this. Okay, this is how it should look like. LNI. Now आपको अगर लगता है, okay, no, anyway, don't worry, आपको अगर नहीं लगता है, तो LNI, this is what I want to make it look like. So this is LNI, and if I want to say LNI X, okay, equals to the product notation. Now the product notation, कैसे देंगे product notation? Prod. So product notation is prod. अंडरस्कोर, तो अंडरस्कोर मतलब उसके नीचे, और कैरेट मतलब उसके ऊपर. फ्रॉम हियर टू देयर, फ्रॉम I इक्वल टू 1 to I इक्वल टू n. नाउ इट इज ऑलरेडी n here. So what I am going to do, j equals to 1 to j equals to n, ऐसा करके कर देना है प्रोडक्ट नोटेशन. एंड देन आई एम गोइंग टू हैव अ फ्रैक्शन. ये देखो फ्रैक्शन ऐसा है, ये फ्रैक्शन ऐसा है. एंड व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू इज, आई एम गोइंग टू, ये ब्रैकेट मार दिया नीचे, और नीचे भी ब्रैकेट मार दिया, और यहाँ पे क्या है, x माइनस एक्स आई, और यहाँ पे सॉरी, एंड x आई माइनस एक्स. okay, if I just written like this, let's see what has happened. Look at this. ये प्रोडक्ट नोटेशन मेरा आ गया. नो ऑल्सो दिस j नॉट इक्वल टू i है. ये j जो है, इधर पे j नॉट इक्वल टू i भी लिखना है, बिकॉज j और i बराबर हो गए तो ये प्रोडक्ट डिवाइड बाय 0 हो जाएगा. तो j नॉट इक्वल टू i भी लिखना है. कैसे लिखूंगा j नॉट इक्वल टू i? तो सिंपल है, मैं इसमें कॉमा लगाऊंगा, एंड j नॉट इक्वल टू का सिंबल लगाना है. हाउ डू आई टाइप नॉट इक्वल टू? कीबोर्ड पे तो है ही नहीं नॉट इक्वल टू. सो j neq neq i. okay, if I do that, there you are. ठीक है, j not equal to i, not equal to, very simple to remember. Not you have to type neq. okay, so this is typing the Lagrange's कौन सा पॉलिनोमियल? दिस इज द बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल. तो ये मेरा बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल है. अब मुझे अल्टीमेटली पॉलिनोमियल लिखना है. नाउ हाउ डू आई राइट द पॉलिनोमियल? द इंटरपोलेटिंग पॉलिनोमियल. सो ओके, अगेन begin equation. Now please see that all equations are now getting numbered automatically. All equations are getting numbered automatically. Right now in my document, यहाँ पे देखेंगे 1, 2 and 3 है. मैंने अगर एक भी इक्वेशन गायब किया ना, सपोज मैंने इसको इक्वेशन को गायब कर दिया, ये इक्वेशन मैंने ऊपर वाला ही छोड़ा, तो ऑटोमेटिकली व्हाट विल हैपन, my equations will be now numbered from 1 and the next equation will become 2. तो ये automatically उड़ जाएगा. Okay, so this is what I have to do. To enter now. Okay, so let us get back to in our, yes, there you are. So I'm here. So now what I have to do, the sigma notation, I want to do the sigma notation. Now how do I do the sigma notation? And sigma notation मतलब क्या हुआ, summation. वो यहाँ पे जब prod था, इसके जगह पे मुझे sum लिखना है. तो how do I see polynomial? The interpolating polynomial at x is given by summation from, remember, I equals to 1 up to n, and I have to write yi times, if I say times, इसका मतलब होता है multiplied by yi times, I will say multiplied by. In case I don't want times, then what do I have to do? In case I don't want times, I will do c dot. Okay, so let me first of all see yi times कौन सा वाला I, so I will just do l n underscore I. ये मेरा summation. So anyway, this is my expression. So this expression I have to write और देखते हैं क्या होता है. ये निकाला. देखिए the times आ गए यहाँ पे. Now many people are not really comfortable while they are typing this mathematical expression. Many people are not comfortable. यार ये times आ रहा है, ये नहीं चाहिए मुझे डॉट टाइप करना है. तो कोई बात नहीं, आपको डॉट टाइप करना है, कोई बात नहीं, यहाँ पे जस्ट टाइप करो c dot. If I just type c dot, let us see what happens. ये देखो यहाँ पे एक सिंगल सेंटर में डॉट आया, नॉट नीचे वाला डॉट, सेंटर में डॉट है. सी डॉट मीन्स सेंटर डॉट. So it has come, the c dot is here. Okay, now you have got px and you have got this summation. Now suppose I have to refer to this equation in my document. क्या है ये इक्वेशन नंबर, कोई भी इक्वेशन नंबर हो, मुझे कोई लेना देना नहीं, कोई भी इक्वेशन नंबर. आई वांट टू रेफर टू दिस इक्वेशन, दिस वन. ये जो पहले वाला इक्वेशन है, दिस इज द बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल इक्वेशन एंड द नेक्स्ट वन इज द इंटरपोलेटिंग पॉलिनोमियल. ओके, आई वांट टू रेफर टू दिस इक्वेशन. So I am telling you a good practice of doing this. Okay, for the sake of what I'll do is, for the sake of large fonts, let me do this article. And I also want to make it large fonts, which I'll put 12 point. I just do that to see if it will give me larger fonts. So is the font now more clear? Okay, so now what you have got is this one. Now I want to refer, that means I want to cross reference in my article. In equation 3, I have written this. In equation 2, I have written this. In equation 1, I have written that. So मुझे ये referencing करना है. Suppose I want to do that. Then how do I do it? Okay, so let us suppose ये आगे का करना है कि पीछे का करना, it doesn't matter. Now, if I want to refer to this, I have to insert a label. Label. The command is label. L-A-B-E-L. Label. Level nahi hai, label. So label. L-A-B-E-L. Okay. So now, if it is label, how do I label? I have to give a bookmark. Bookmark kaisa? EQ. Colon. Ellipse. तो ये मैंने एक लेबल दे दिया, लेबल EQ ellipse. So in this, suppose for example, मैं क्या हो रहा है, in equation reference, कौन सा reference? EQ ellipse. The formula for ellipse has been given. This formula was taken from SL Looney's coordinate geometry part. Okay, now the formula in the SL Looney's. Okay, so I've just done that. Now remember, I have got equation ellipse. अभी क्या होगा? अभी ध्यान देखना क्या होता है. Now you see what will happen. ध्यान देना. Because this is very unique to LaTeX. I will do the first compilation. So in the first compilation, what happens? This particular text will appear. यहाँ पे right now यहाँ पे क्या हुआ? 2 question marks have appeared. कौन सा इक्वेशन भाई? कौन सा इक्वेशन? मुझे तो पता ही नहीं. So now what has happened is the first time I compiled, it has noted the fact that there is a bookmark somewhere, and in my document, which is the bookmark there, this bookmark appears, but I don't know where this bookmark is. First time compilation में bookmark है ये पता चलता है लेटेक्स. अगले टाइम में कंपाइल करेंगे तो bookmark क्या है वो बताए. Okay, so I'm going to compile it again. If I just compile it again, now in the next time, see, so I just do the compilation again. Now you see in equation 1. Is it okay? Is it clear? So in LaTeX, you have to compile 2 times. Why? Because in the first time, it will create a file. It actually creates an auxiliary file. If you maintain the list of files, if you actually see the list of files here, I will also tell you here, there's this pehla paper. This pehla paper .log is also there. There's an AUX file which is also created. So as soon as you create a LaTeX file, according to, after that, many more bhata are created. भ्राता मीन उसके भाई फाइल्स होते हैं. तो by default पहला paper .tx is to be submitted to the journal. बस इसी को सबमिट करना होता है, बाकी और किसी को सबमिट नहीं करना. But LaTeX creates supporting files in the file system in order to help it get the picture. Now, so what has happened is ellipse, it was cited and it has got cited here. Now suppose I want to cite and label this particular equation, the basis polynomial. So this is a technique which I am saying. अगर मुझे पिक्चर डालना है तो अलग तरीके का रखिए, अगर मुझे टेबल डालना है तो अलग तरीके का रखिए. ये EQ रखा है, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? ये इक्वेशन का है. Now this is not required in LaTeX. It is not necessary that you have to type EQ all the time. Okay, it is just a convention that I am telling. Conventionally, if you type EQ, you will remember yes, it has to do with some equation. And if you type TAB, then it has to do with some table. It is a method of remembering. Remember that in your thesis, there will be so many figures, so many equations, so many tables, and so on and so forth. And the only mechanism of remembering is this mechanism. Okay, so I'm just doing a convention EQ. You can type EQN, you can say capital EQ, whatever it is, or you can start the name with EQ. Whatever it is, you just make a convention so that you remember, अरे बाबा ये error कहाँ से आया, ये error आया तो किधर से आया, ये कौन सा reference है, that you remember. Otherwise, what is happening is the table has something to do with it. The table is also to do with the ellipse, and the equation also has to do with the ellipse. Then you will be confused कि मुझे कैसा नाम देना है. So in that way, EQ ellipse and tab ellipse, it is much easier that. Okay, now let us suppose that I have this begin equation. So now I want to label a big book. First of all, I have to create a label. So label, again, I just do labeling and I say EQ and I say this is basis lag अंडरस्कोर बेसिस। तो लैग्रांजियस बेसिस पॉलिनोमियल ऐसे लगाया मैंने, और इधर भी लेबल लगाया, एंड आई से EQ एंड लैग अंडरस्कोर इंटरपोलेट, तो इंटर, ओके फाइन। पूरा नहीं लिखा मैंने अभी राइट नाउ। सो नाउ आई वांट टू डिस्क्राइब दीज। सो इन इक्वेशन, कौन सा इक्वेशन है, तो आई हैव टू यूज रेफरेंस, तो रेफ, ओके इक्वेशन रेफ दी Lagrange's, so Lagrange's basis polynomials, so I just say polynomials given. The interpolant is given in equation ref. Now, what is the reference here? So in smartness, what you do is you just actually copy the references so that there is no difference in the spellings. Sometimes the two spellings look similar, but what happens is that some error is coming. I don't know why. Okay, so now if I do that again, मैंने क्या बोला, पहली बार कंपाइल करेंगे तो ये क्वेश्चन मार्क देगा, दूसरी बार कंपाइल किया तो ये ऑटोमेटिकली 2 and 3 हो जाएगा। हो गया। अभी one of the things that is interesting in, remember when we were discussing statistics, there was something called chi-square test. How many do you remember this chi-square test?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो जो chi-square test था, मुझे chi-square test टाइप करना है मुझे। So how do I type the chi-square test? So let us type the chi-square test. So I said that the chi-square test. So I just, अभी आप बोल दो कि मैं ऐसा chi-square test टाइप कर देता हूँ chi-square test, लेकिन लिखने का मैकेनिज्म ऐसा तो है नहीं। You have to write it in a chi-square, जैसा chi-square दिखता था वैसे ही लिखना चाहिए। So chi-square test gives us either the test of independence of two samples, or it gives us the whether the data follows a particular law or distribution. Okay, so now the chi-square, ये जो लिखा है मैंने chi-square, ये chi-square मुझे एक्चुअली chi-square जैसा दिखता है वैसा मुझे चाहिए, ऐसा मैं बोल रहा हूँ। तो ये chi-square टेस्ट यहाँ पे आ गया है। अभी नाउ वन क्वेश्चन इज कि बाबा मुझे पैराग्राफ ब्रेक घुसाना है, हाउ डू आई इंसर्ट द पैराग्राफ ब्रेक हियर? कि मान लो कि मैंने यहाँ पे एंटर मार दिया, इससे पैराग्राफ ब्रेक आएगा क्या? लेट अस डू दैट। मैंने यहाँ पे एंटर मारा और पैराग्राफ ब्रेक तो नहीं आएगा, यहाँ पे नहीं आया। सो व्हाट टू डू, पुट 2 एंटर्स। एक एंटर से काम नहीं चला, तो 2 डालो, एक से मेरा क्या होगा, पान पराग। तो नाउ दो एंटर मारे तो पैराग्राफ ब्रेक आ जाता है। ओके, सो नाउ इफ आई वांट टू टाइप द chi-square test in a Greek fashion using the Greek letter, तो मुझे क्या करना है? तो remember that this is a mathematical expression. All mathematical expressions do not necessarily belong to equations. Some mathematical expression might be in the sentence, like for example, let x be the cost of the item. So this is a mathematical sentence. ये x जो है ये मेरा mathematical term है. So I have to type mathematics inline. What do you call it? Inline typing of mathematics. How do I do inline typing of mathematics? I say dollar type करना है. Now inside the dollar I will put the mathematical expression and then end the mathematical expression by putting dollar. So $2 के बीच में मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन। रिमेंबर, डबल डॉलर नहीं लगाने का, डबल डॉलर नहीं लगाने का। आई एम पुटिंग द मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन बिटवीन $2, ओके, इसके बीच में, ये जो डॉलर है इसके बीच में डालूंगा। ओके, नाउ व्हाट डू आई वांट टू डू? काई स्क्वायर टाइप करना मुझे, तो हाउ डू आई टाइप द काई? CHI, जस्ट टाइप /CHI एंड स्क्वायर, दैट वर्क। तो देखो भाई कैसा आया ये, देखो ये छप गया। यू सी काई स्क्वायर हियर, एंड अगर ये कैपिटल C कर देते तो कैपिटल C मानता नहीं है। ओके, सो यू हैव टू आल्सो ऑलवेज यूज द छोटा c। कैपिटल C इसलिए नहीं मानता क्योंकि काई स्क्वायर का जो कैपिटल है वो x है। ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ द काई स्क्वायर टेस्ट इज रिटन एज। सो दिस इज all about it. Now, so this, in this, what we have done is we have typed in certain equations, we have typed in certain polynomials, we have typed in certain expressions. Now we are getting into typing in the load. Now remember that if I want to insert figures into my document, if I want to insert figures in the document, the method is to use the graphics package. तो मुझे बताना पड़ेगा लेटेक को कि भाई expect the graphics to be entered. तो मैं फिगर को भी नंबरिंग कर सकता हूँ। रिमेंबर, फिगर को नंबरिंग कर सकता हूँ, टेबल को नंबरिंग कर सकता हूँ, सब कुछ नंबरिंग हो सकता है। ओके, सो नाउ फिगर को घुसाना है। हाउ डू आई इंसर्ट द फिगर? द फिगर इंसर्शन इज डन बाय यूजिंग द पैकेज। ओके, सो लेट मी, so the figure package, I say use package graphics. Now remember, this is not graphics S with an S, graphic with an X. Okay, so this is graphic X you have to write, not graphics, but graphic X. This is how the thing is written. So use package graphic X. Now मुझे फिगर इंसर्ट करना है, आई कैन सिंपली यूज इंक्लूड ग्राफिक्स, बट मुझे फिगर का नंबर के साथ चाहिए। तो हाउ डू आई डू दैट? फिगर के नंबर, नाउ प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट यहाँ पे इन माय डॉक्यूमेंट मेरे पास तो तोता था, व्हाट वेयर इज द पैरट? नाउ रिमेंबर दिस parrot.jpg इज द नेम ऑफ द फाइल, parrot.jpg इज द नेम ऑफ द फाइल। तो मुझे ये घुसाना है अंदर उसके डॉक्यूमेंट में। कैसे घुसेगा? नाउ व्हाट आई डू इज राइट नाउ पुट द फिगर, तो फिगर चालू करना है, सो बिगिन फिगर एंड फिगर, फिगर चालू करना। ओके, और फिगर को कैप्शन भी चाहिए, फिगर को कैप्शन भी चाहिए, तो दे कैप्शन, तो कैप्शन बाद में, कैप्शन बाद में। अपन पहले फिगर डालते हैं। फिगर डालने के लिए क्या करेंगे? स्लैश इंक्लूड ग्राफिक्स। ओके, और फाइल का नाम था क्या? parrot.jpg, ये नाम था ना parrot। ओके, so just have to do parrot.jpg, बस इतना करना, बस इंक्लूड ग्राफिक्स किया, parrot.jpg, बिगिन फिगर एंड फिगर किया, इतना मैं छोड़ दिया। कैप्शन बाद में डालेंगे, पहले देख तो लो कि पैरेट कैसा दिखता है। तो मैंने ऐसे कंपाइल किया और ये भागते हुए, ये देखो, ये यू सी द पैरेट इज देयर इनसाइड द डॉक्यूमेंट। नाउ टेल मी, अब मुझे इसका कैप्शन चाहिए, तो मैं कैप्शन भी डाल देता हूं। कैप्शन के लिए कैप्शन कमांड है, कैप्शन, दिस इज अ पैरेट, green in color, suppose, just to include a bit. No, this is caption. Now tell me, अरे भैया ये अच्छा दिख रहा है क्या? ये पैरट का जो अपना फिगर है ये लेफ्ट साइड में, और कैप्शन जो है उसका सेंटर में, अच्छा लग रहा है क्या देखने में? नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है। पैरेट का जो फिगर है वो भी सेंटर में चाहिए और कैप्शन भी सेंटरिंग में ही चाहिए. तो हाउ डू आई डू दिस? आई हैव टू insert a command called centering. Centering. ये कमांड दिया, ऐसे सेंटरिंग कमांड मारा, मारा, and you see the parrot will shift to the center. Now the problem with this parrot is what has happened. ये पूरे पेज में पैरट आ गया है. ये पूरे पेज में देख रहे हो पैरट आ गया है, राइट? I don't want the parrot to actually take the entire page. यानी कि उस पैरट के साइज को छोटा करना है. Let us try to reduce the size of the parrot. So I want to reduce the size of the parrot. How do I do that? I can use the command or option which is called scale. So I'll do the scale. Let us say the scale. So scale. If I do the scaling, what will happen? I can scale it to 80%, 60%, 70%. ऐसा scaling कर सकता हूँ. So if I have to say 60%, I will put 0.6, यानी कि 0.6. So if I just scale 0.6, it means 60% of its original size. ये कंपाइल. अब देखो क्या होता है भाई. देखो, look at this. The parrot आया. Is it looking good? Is it looking good now? So that means this caption is now there and caption में figure 1 भी आ गया है automatic. मैंने figure 1 टाइप नहीं किया था, automatically figure 1 आ गया. Okay, now let us insert another image somewhere else. मैं कुछ और देखता हूँ यहाँ पे कोई दूसरा है क्या? owl है. Okay, owl है. Okay, fine. So I will insert the owl. देखो parrot के पहले मैं owl डालूंगा. ये कॉपी करता हूँ मैं, ये कोड कॉपी करता हूँ एंड ये इक्वेशन के बाद में आउल डालूंगा. क्या है? OWL. OWL. Okay. This is okay. So this is an owl. All right. So what has happened? ये देखो आउल कैसा हो गया, ये पैरट कैसा हो गया. आउल इतना बड़ा क्यों आया? कैन एनीबडी गेस? आउल इतना बड़ा है, पैरट दोनों में स्केलिंग सेम यूज किया मैंने. कैन एनीबडी गेस व्हाई दिस इज लाइक दिस? It is because why this is happening? Because wherever I downloaded these images from, these images have different dimensions. Okay, the sizes of the images मैंने scaling किया है. I have not mentioned the width. Okay, I have not mentioned the height. So if I want to explicitly mention the height or the width, I can actually do that. I can, instead of saying scale, it is much wiser to actually mention the width in inches, okay, or in centimeters, whatever units you want to. Okay, so I'll just say width equals to say 3 inch. ऐसा मैंने बोला. If I say width equal to 3 inch, what will happen? ये छोटा होके 3 इंच का आउल हो जाएगा. देखो ये छोटा होकर 3 इंच का आउल हो. Correct. You can also reduce it to other. Now do you see, because the owl was inserted earlier, it is now figure 1 and your figure is now figure. Now if I suppose, if I am interested, some people, some papers, if you have seen in some papers, typically Elsevier papers, they include also what we call as a table of contents. Now suppose I want to insert the table of contents into this paper. So usually I will do it after the abstract, but if I want to insert the table of contents, the command is simple. Table of contents is the command. So I'll say table of content. The command है. Okay. ओके, एंड क्लिक किया. देखो क्या होता है, कंटेंट्स आ गए. अगेन मैंने क्या बोला आपको, कितने बार बताना चलाना चलेगा? आपको 2 बार चलाना पड़ता है. 2 बार चलाएंगे तो उसको पता चलेगा नहीं मुझे टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट जनरेट करना है. तो ये टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट्स आ गए। व्हाट अबाउट द लिस्ट ऑफ फिगर्स, मुझे लिस्ट ऑफ फिगर्स भी तो है इसके अंदर, तो मुझे लिस्ट ऑफ फिगर्स भी चाहिए। ओके, साथ में कमांड ऑफ लिस्ट ऑफ फिगर्स स्लैश लिस्ट ऑफ फिगर्स, फिगर्स भी डाले मैंने उसके अंदर, तो लिस्ट ऑफ फिगर्स भी आ गए। अगेन मुझे दो बार नहीं चलाना है, दो बार ही चलाना है, राइट। कंटेंट भी आ गए, बाउंड भी आ गया। ओके, ये मेरे कंटेंट्स आ गए। And suppose now I want to put in tables, certain tables I want to put in. Now remember that whenever I am putting the tables, the table also is a float item. It's a floating object. It, I know, like it jumps from here to there. Similarly, I have to be, जैसे word में अपन को careful रहना पड़ता है. In the same way, I have to be also careful about the table. So let us put a table. Okay, some table I can put in. एंड टेबल को डालने के लिए मुझे ये पता होना चाहिए उस टेबल में कितने कॉलम्स है। क्या 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 पता होना चाहिए, कितने कॉलम्स है। कॉलम्स आर मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। ओके, एंड देन बेस्ड ऑन द कॉलम्स आई विल पुट द टेबल इनसाइड। नाउ इन टेबल द एनवायरनमेंट, नाउ सी दिस फिगर, ये जो फिगर है ना, फिगर एंड बिगिन फिगर एंड फिगर, this figure is called an environment in LaTeX terminology. Okay, this is called environment. Now, so therefore, I have to have a table environment. So I will also do the table environment. Let us do the table environment. तो क्या कैसे होगा? So I will try to insert a table here. Begin table, and similarly I will just put end table. Begin table डाला, end table डाला. क्या होगा? उसके बीच में टेबल का डेटा होगा। एंड अगेन जैसे फिगर में सेंटरिंग डाला था वैसे ही इसमें भी सेंटरिंग डालना है। क्यों? बिकॉज इन यूजुअली इन पेपर्स people will prefer centered tables usually in papers. So there are other tables also, like for example extended table. Suppose for example it does not cover the entire breadth of the breadth of the paper, then there is a extended table. You have to put that. So we'll discuss it later. We'll discuss it tomorrow maybe. But give me 7 minutes to complete. So centering. Now I have to put, once I've started the table, I have to put the contents of the table. Now, when I am putting the contents of the table, I have to put it in an environment called the tabular environment. टेबल के अंदर टैब्यूलर बनाना है मुझे। ओके, अब मुझे मार्जिन चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, स्मार्ट टैबिंग चाहिए, वो सब अपन बाद में देखेंगे। बट वील फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डू द सिंपलेस्ट टेबल, सिंपलेस्ट टेबल, हाँ, विद सिंपल वर्टिकल अपना लाइंस होंगे, उसके सेपरेटिंग हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइंस होंगे, वैसा सिंपलेस्ट टेबल बनाएंगे, वैसा बनाते हैं। ओके, so how is the simplest table? So I'm going to do the tabular environment. So begin tabular, and remember I have to always do end tabular. ये मुझे करना जरूरी है, नहीं तो भूल जाऊंगा बाद में। तो भूल गया ना, फिर उसके बाद वो लेटेक्स चलेगा नहीं और फिर वो रोता है। Okay, now insert the tabular environment. What do I have to in a compulsorily mention here is the amount of columns I want. Okay, let us suppose that I want 4 columns. So I say C C C C. C C C C का मतलब क्या हुआ? It is not vitamin C. C means centered. L बोले तो left, C बोले तो centered, and R बोले तो right aligned. Means center aligned. All the contents in all the columns will be center aligned. That is what the idea is. Okay, तो मुझे C C C C कर दिया मैंने C C C. Remember बड़ा C नहीं है, छोटा C है, हाँ? तो छोटा C डाला मैंने. Okay, now I inside each of these columns I am going to put some data. Sir, something like that. So let us put some say Ram and say Ali, and then say how to say give me some name, Nanak, and then I will put Arjan Dev. Nanak, Arjan Dev. Okay, and then I will put another, yeah, what do you say, Mary. Okay. Now ये देखो क्या किया मैंने यहाँ पे, ध्यान से देखना. What has happened is I have put Ram. Okay, this is one content in one cell. Then I put and there. And जो है ये and लगाया मैंने यहाँ पे. वो ये and का मतलब ये हुआ कि it goes to the next column. Okay, यहाँ पे जो and लगाया, it means it will go to the next column. Again, this is going to the next column. लाइन मेरी खत्म हो गई, मेरी लाइन खत्म हो गई है. आई हैव टू टेल लेटेक कि भैया लाइन खत्म हो गई, नेक्स्ट लाइन पे जा. सो हाउ डू आई डू दैट? आई जस्ट डू टक टक. ये दो बैकस्लैश मार रहे हैं, दो बैकस्लैश मार. ओके, एंड देन आई विल put some other content, say for example a b, a c and d. Okay, some other content, some dummy content I'm just saying, say lorem, and then say ipsum, dollar, c. Okay, so what I've done is now I have put all the lines into the data and I have just created a table. Okay, now let us see how the table looks like. Let us see. देखते हैं कैसा दिखता है टेबल. कंपाइल किया, हो सकता है थोड़ा बहुत. Okay, so where is the table first of all? ये देखो ऐसा टेबल ऐसा दिख रहा है. Okay, now this table is looking like this. अब इस टेबल में मुझे क्या करना है? आई वॉन्ट वर्टिकल लाइन्स, हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन, है कि नहीं? तो वर्टिकल लाइन कैसे डालेंगे? बिकॉज व्हाट आई एम डूइंग इज आई एम टाइपिंग रो वाइज. वर्टिकल लाइन डालने का कोई तरीका ही नहीं दिख रहा. तो हाउ डू आई डू? वेरी सिंपल. आई विल डू, यहाँ पे ये वर्टिकल लाइन खींच दिया, ये वर्टिकल लाइन खींच दिया, ये ठीक बैकस्लैश के ऊपर जो की है उसमें वो है, तो वर्टिकल लाइन खींच दिया एंड एक और वर्टिकल लाइन खींच दिया. सपोज आई डू दैट, सी व्हाट हैपेंस नाउ. If I do that, all vertical lines appear. Okay. अब मुझे horizontal lines चाहिए. तो horizontal lines करने के लिए कमांड वेरी सिंपल है, h line, horizontal line. पूरा नाम लंबा नाम नहीं, h line, horizontal line. ये जो डबल स्लैश मारा ना, h line, h line, इसके बाद स्लैश h line, इसके बाद h line लिख दिया. अब देखो क्या होगा. नाउ प्लीज टेल मी, ये टेबल ढका हुआ होगा कि नहीं होगा? है, देखो see it needs this horizontal line, this horizontal line and this horizontal line, but it ये जो ऊपर का टकला है वो टकला नहीं ढका है अभी. ओके, तो देखो टकला नहीं आएगा अभी, देखो टकला नहीं है, तो ना ऊपर का टकला नहीं आया. तो हाउ डू आई मेक श्योर द टकला ऑल्सो कम्स देयर? तो मुझे कुछ नहीं, ये जो है ये इसके ऊपर आई जस्ट पुट h line here and as soon as I do that, ये ऊपर का टकला आ जाएगा एंड योर टेबल इज कंप्लीटेड. अब टेबल का मुझे कैप्शन चाहिए. टेबल का कैप्शन दर्शाने के लिए बड़ा सिंपल है, ये टेबुलर खत्म हो गया, टेबुलर के बाद कैप्शन डालिए, कैप्शन मेरा टेबल. अगर मुझे उसको रेफरेंस करना है, क्या करना है, लेबल लगाइए और उसमें टैब लगा के टेबल फर्स्ट अंडरस्कोर टैब व्हाटएवर इट इज, ऐसा कुछ मैंने कैप्शन डाला और ये मेरा टेबल आ गया. नाउ इफ आई डू दिस, now suppose I want this table into my table of contents. What do I have to do? Look here, it is list of figures. Remember, it is list of figures. Now the command for inserting the table is list of tables, and I just do attack, and there you are. In the first page, you see I've got list of figures and list of tables. देखो tables एक बार में नहीं आए. Why क्यों नहीं आए? इसका सिंपल रीजन ऐसा है क्योंकि मुझे दो बार कंपाइल करना पड़ता है. पहली बार मुझे लिस्ट बताना है और ये आ गया. You see, now your contents is ready, now list of figures is also ready, list of tables is also ready, and your paper is also looking something like a paper. Okay, अभी ये कितने पेज का हो गया? देखो 7 पेज का हो गया. All right. So now this is the way how you compose an article. We'll talk more and more about LaTeX tomorrow and maybe in the next lecture also. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session. I don't know whether you have enjoyed it or not.
Enjoyed, sir.